I'm Jerry Scullion and I help manage the chocolate factory, the interesting building we're in today. The chocolate factory was previously known as the Williams and Woods building. This building was built between 1908 and 1910. It was one of the first, if not the first, poured reinforced concrete structure in the country, so it's new technology in its day. This was a sweet and chocolate factory originally, so Williams and Woods were the builders and operators of this property. Yeah, the former workers' reunion, it's a really great day. One of the former foremen from the building came along one day, knocked on the door and said he'd like to have a tour of the place and with some of his older companions he worked with. And they came in about, I think this is the 4th year. They knocked in one day, a gang of them arrived in, maybe 30, 40 of them. We gave them a tour and it was quite amazing because they closed in the building here closed in 1975 and the jam production was moved to Tala. Some of the workers moved with that, some of them moved on. What we got out of it was the stories, the families, the friends, the friendships, and how important this place was to the local community in its day. It employed quite a number of people from the local community in the various operations here.
My name is Jerry Butterly, here for a reunion of the people who used to work in this building, Williams and Woods. So I started in 1951, wasn't very long after the Second World War, and things were still very tight. Lovely to see all the faces. It's hard to remember the names. Some people have changed very little, others have very big changes. But it's lovely to see them all again, they're all looking well, and everyone is happy to see everyone.
My name is Mags O'Connell. I worked in Williams and Woods since I was 13, and I left I worked there for about 39 years. I used to assemble the goods to send them out onto the trucks. And then in the latter years, I started driving the trucks. I learned how to drive a truck, and they learn you within the job. So I learned, passed the test, and started driving there till I retired. They sold up the company for the deliveries, and when they did that, I took redundancy.
We're delighted that it's back in use and that there's a community spirit again, and they enjoy coming in. One lady travels from Manchester every year to meet up with her friends from it.
It's sad to say, each year we come back, a lot of people are dead, you know? They're all at the dying age now. A lot of people have died since last year, including the factory manager who was here last year. He's not here this year. He passed out.
Does anybody need the lift?
No, okay.
No?
My father worked here, so I can't. Yeah, that's right.
Loved every minute of that job. I have to say, I loved working in the factory. When we used to go into, from 14, I used to look forward to getting to the bus into town, getting into Williams and Woods and starting work. Every day I loved it.
Michael Dowling is my name. I started in Williams and Woods in July 1961. I was there for 17 years. I had just turned 14. I just left school. It was the first job I ever had, and the factory left here in 1975 and went to Tala. I was part of that transfer. I left there after. There was a lot of people working here, up to 1,000 people worked in the factory when I was here. This factory here was the jam department. Above that you had sweets were made, fruit jellies, fruit pastilles, jelly babies, fruit jellies. Probably the fondest memory is I met my wife here. That's it, and many other people also. A lot of people met their wives here.
You have in the ground floor when you walk in the Blas Cafe, That's run by 3 guys, brilliant food, has me spoilt, spent far too much money there, and eat well. In the corner then you'll see a design shop. So we basically started that as a pop-up originally. Now Emmett of Copper Creation runs that, and it's a showcase for the product that's in the building and Irish design as well.
From this building, it was great to see that it's not knocked down. A lot of it is around the lane. There's a lane went through the middle of it, Loftus Lane, and but all this is the original building. But it's great to see it's been used, yeah. It's not being knocked down for apartments, you know. It's great to see there's some enterprises in it.
My name is Emmett Bosnay and I am the founder and creator of Copper Creation. I love to support all of the designers in the building. It's really good to promote their work because there's such talented people here.
On the ground floor where I'm based myself, I'm over in one of the corners. I make the kefir products. I have a small microbrewery there. You have Benoit, who's a year actually this September, and he has a range of essential oils. His background is perfumery in New York for 20 years and came and started a business here.
I'm now bottling some bergamot oil. So it's an essential oil that's made from a citrus that's called bergamot. It's famous for being the main flavor of the Earl Grey tea, and but it's also a beautiful oil to use in a blend if you want to create your own cologne. I moved to these premises, to the chocolate factory, about 1.5 years ago. It took me about 6 months to put together my little lab, my production area. What's been great for me is that first to find a little industrial space where I could work and set up my lab and my workshop, and second was really the community of companies and art creators, artists here. So we are really creating a little communities, and we help each other.
Well, my name's Steve Dugan even. I'm an illustrator. I'm from Glasgow originally. I lived in Dublin for about 20 years, and I've been an illustrator for about 20 years now. So I needed a new place to stay. In Dublin there's a lot of places closing down. I think it's kind of well known that a lot of the creative kind of nests of artist studios were closing down. So I was in a place called South Studios, and that closed down. Then I went to a place called Block T, and that closed down. So there's a lot of us milling around looking for new places to go, and I was really lucky to get the chocolate factory. So, and at the moment I'm also just doing little lino cuts, which is just in the last 24 hours, just kind of messing around. And these are going to be tiles, you know, just tile designs. It's kind of amazing. It's one of the best, if not the best place in Dublin, I would say, that I've encountered for artists and designers to work. If you want to work in a kind of like, it can be a collaborative space if you want.
And when I came here, this place, I didn't realise I was so blinkered in my own life. My whole world was blown apart. People, I didn't realise I was living in such a narrow space. And then the diversity of people here is really blowing my mind. With all the different things that they're working on, the different projects, the different creativity, the creatives, and it's been a real eye-opener for me, and personally, yeah, I value it very, very much.
Yeah. All right, we're going this way now, so ladies. Listen. Listen.
Till next year.